I thought before I close this up that I might show you all a couple of the top upgrades to do to your cooling system on these 6-liter Fords. One of them is to replace your hose that goes to your degas bottle. These hoses tend to break right here at the Y connection. And as far as I know, they're not repairable. I haven't seen just a replacement for this plastic part. So you've got to take your engine down to where you got the air box out. You don't have to take the belt off, but you've got to get the air box off. You're probably going to want to get your coolant line off and out of the way just to give yourself some more room to work. You've got to take your reservoir, your degas bottle off, and it's just going to be a big pain to do it. So you may as well upgrade from this. I guess you'd say this is a 3-piece design. Throw that away, although I do like the hose clamps they come with, and upgrade to something like this that's more of a 1-piece silicone. This thing is a lot more flexible probably than this one ever was, even when brand new. So that's one upgrade. Over here, it's a good idea to replace your thermostat. If you're doing anything else on here, you may as well go ahead and take care of that too while you're into it. You might get a lower temperature thermostat too, just if you're towing or going long distances with a camper or in hot environments, you may want to get a lower temperature thermostat. Probably the single most important upgrade on here is to replace your stock water pump with one of these from Bulletproof Diesel. This has a billet impeller in it as opposed to the plastic. The only drawback to the billet is that if it ever came loose, it might do a lot of serious damage to your engine, whereas the plastic one, being plastic, if it ever comes loose, is just going to detonate in there and be a failed water pump that'll probably clog something up, but it won't eat through your face. The old one that came out of here was already starting to wear down, the plastic blades on it, so I know it was rubbing. Another upgrade, this nut on the front will let you adapt this from the electric controlled fan to a heat sensing, I don't know what you call them, I think a thermostat clutch fan. I'm probably saying that wrong, but essentially it'll let you put the 7.3 liter diesel style fan on here as opposed to electronically controlled fan. It's going to be a lot louder when you start running with it, but they're a lot more reliable. They're honestly quite a bit more easy when it comes to replacing them than the electronic version. And it's just one less thing that'll fail electronically. So these things are already a walking detonation as it is. You may as well take a couple things out of the equation. So, bulletproof water pump from Bulletproof Diesel, the nut that adapts it from a 6-liter to a 7.3 liter style fan. You're going to need a new fan clutch to go on there as well. And then over here, if you have one of these radiators that has the plastic top and just has this crimped aluminum, these things do leak, they do break. These little nipples tend to break off when you're working on it. Upgrade to a solid aluminum, all welded radiator, and that'll take care of most of the issues relating to your radiator. That's really about it. Make sure that you're running the appropriate coolant in here, whatever Ford recommends. I would say for the coolant especially, I've heard people with all kinds of issues with stock, off-the-shelf, general purpose radiator fluid. So use what they call for. It's expensive, but just use it and try to make sure you don't have a lot of leaks, and it'll last you a long time. I think that's it. Well, actually, there's one other upgrade, which I don't have here yet, is a all aluminum degas bottle, because the degas bottle also breaks right. Let's see here, get my hoses straight and figure out where I'm trying to show you. I believe it's that connection. Now I'm a little bit confused, but this connection where it connects to your degas bottle on the bottom, the pipe that goes in here, or the nipple that goes in here, tends to break off on the degas bottle, and then you have a leak there and you may not notice it at first. So upgrade to an all aluminum. I think Sinister Diesel probably has one of the best on the market that you don't have to do a whole lot of screwing around to make it work. The one that I use is not Bulletproof Diesel or Sinister Diesel. It's just a fairly cheap, I think it was $150 on Amazon. But I've had to go through and reseal a bunch of dummy plugs on it and solder on or braze rather a viewing port in it and remove the stock viewing port. It's just not been a good product, but if you do enough work to it, you can make just about anything work. So you might just go with Sinister Diesel on that one, and you don't have to screw around with it too much. Just plug it in and get rolling. Trying to think if I'm missing anything. You know, while you're in there, you may as well replace pulleys, but that's totally up to you. They're not terribly expensive. They're about $40 a piece if you buy them on Amazon. They are Motorcraft, I believe. That one actually may not be Motorcraft, but you can get the Motorcraft parts on Amazon fairly inexpensively. Okay, I don't think I'm missing anything. Actually, I'm sure I'm missing something. I just don't know what it is. Thanks for watching. Hope it was helpful. And if you do these things, it'll make your cooling system much more reliable. If you have it in you to replace the oil cooler, that's another common failure point on the coolant systems. There's actually an oil cooler buried underneath all this. You have to take this off, take your manifolds off, and then you can get down to the oil heat exchanger, which is coolant and oil, and replace that. You can go with any brand you want. Motorcraft's probably the best one to do there, unless you're going to go with a bulletproof diesel, and those things get pricey, but they're an excellent product. One more upgrade. Here's one that I was forgetting. Sinister Diesel is what I use on all of mine for this component. This is a coolant filtration system, and you do have to use a coolant filter. This is a Wix, I believe. I'm wanting to say it's a Wix brand, but it may not. No, this is a Finia. Anyway, this coolant filter will help filter out some of the sand and crap in your system and make it run longer than it will without it. I usually change it once a year. You should probably change it more frequently than that, but it's just a passive system. It takes a small portion of the coolant that's going through your system, passes it through the filter, and in theory, over time, it'll filter 100% of the fluid, little bits at a time. Okay, now I think that's the end of it. Thank you for watching. If it was helpful, drop us a comment, like the channel, follow for videos, like the video. Anything you do will help us. Thanks a lot. Y'all have a good one.